Hey guys, it's yours truly, and I'm back. I got the Kashtira deck profile for you all, as well as a general rundown of the combos, as well as my card choices and why I play those cards to help broaden your understanding of optimal card choices during deck construction. Just waiting for this to load up. I play 3 copies of Mark C, self-explanatory. It's either your opponent pushes or they stop. 2 copies of Ash, self-explanatory. 2 copies of Moonlit Chill. This negates your opponent's monster effect. I prefer this over Vela because Vela can only be activated during your opponent's turn. This can negate your opponent's monster effect, and if that monster leaves the field, your opponent takes that monster's attack as damage. This does come in clutch late game if your opponent has less life points than the monster whose effect is negated by this card. 2 copies of Necro because this is the heart of the deck. A Rise Heart is the soul of the deck, and when together it's beautiful, banishing harmony. 2 copies of the Sky Blaster. This gets you access to your Saryuja, your Elemental Charmers, and your Avermax. 2 copies of the Rise Heart. You also want to loop this in with milling cards from your opponent's deck, so you can use the effect of either Birth or Preparations to special summon it back during your turn, and mill another 3 cards from your opponent's deck along with the 5 that's going to go off of Necroface. And if you manage to have 2 Necrofaces going off, it's going to be a 13 card minus for your opponent. 2 copies of the Lancia because it's really good at stopping decks that need to banish to either combo off or extend. It's really good against the mirror match, so you can stop the Kashtira combo from actually banishing at all, going first when it's the mirror match, and the mirror match has them going first, stopping them from being able to banish cards immediately from your deck. And it's also an excellent counter once you set up your board to evenly, because Kashtira board setups are really weak against an evenly match. So this is an excellent way to ensure that you can keep your field presence intact. 1 copy of the Fenrir, self-explanatory. 3 copies of Unicorn, it's your starter. 3 copies of Ogre, also self-explanatory. Basically all the Kashtira monsters self-explanatory. Scarecrow, just 2. 1 of the Talaments, Kashtira. You also want to loop this in with the Rise Heart and Necroface, giving you an additional 3 card banish. So if you can pull off both Necroface's banishing along with the Rise Heart and Talaments, you can banish 16 cards in a single turn. Well, depending on how you loop Necroface, because if you go Sarcophagus, Allure, or Foolish, any combination of the 2 in a single turn, and then attach them to the Rise Heart before triggering its effect, you can then banish 26 cards in a single turn. 2 copies of Sphere Mode, self-explanatory, but just for the heck of it, allow your opponent to build the most awesomest board possible, and then you dismantle it. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, Back Row Hate. 1 Monster Reborn, because getting access to things you out using Sphere Mode is awesome. Your opponent may have a Baron that they made, you Sphere Mode, you can play Monster Reborn, and now you have an Omni Negate of your own, as well as a 1-turn pop during your turn. 1 copy of Change of Heart, because during the mirror match, if they make their Shangri-La, however you pronounce it, you Change of Heart it, turn it into your Rise Heart, you battle, something gets banished, it gets you attached as a overlay unit or material, and depending on if anything else also got banished while it's in your possession, you can then attach potentially more materials before making the Zeus, giving you access to at least 2 board wipes whenever you choose, which is really good. One copy of Foolish. You play this after you make the Arise card to get Necroface into Necroface banished, so you can then begin comboing. Well, then your banishing combo or your banishing cycle then starts. Gold Sarcophagus, depending on what gets banished, you can end up going full combo. Let's say you go Sarcophagus, Necroface end up banishing the Kashtira Thesis and Unicorn. You can then, off a Thesis effect, put Unicorn in hand and potentially go full combo depending on the rest of your hand. But it can get you access to any of your Kashtira monsters. As long as Thesis and the Kashtira monster gets banished, you then get access to that monster. A Law of Darkness is how you banish Necroface from your hand. You can draw 2 and then banish 5. Sacred Sword of 7, really good card as a starter. Let's say you go Ogre, add the trap, go Sacred Sword of 7 plus 2, and if you have the Unicorn in hand or Fenrir in hand, you can then add either Birth or another Kashtira monster and make the Kashtira Angler. 2 copies of Lightning Storm, back row hate. Also, if your opponent has monsters in attack mode, you can also board wipe all of their attack position monsters. 2 copy of Kashtira Thesis. This is a limb of the deck, one of the deck's limbs. Necroface banishes randomly, which is just the top 5 cards. So if Birth or Preparations gets banished, those 2 are also your limbs of the deck to keep regurgitating your Kashtira monsters that are banished or in the graveyard. So if they get banished off of the Necroface's effect, you use Thesis effect to put them back in hand and make them playable. 1 Primitive Planet, self-explanatory. 1 Pressured Planet, self-explanatory. 1 Birth, self-explanatory. Evenly matched because it's just really good, especially against the Trap Tricks matchup. 1 Big Bang, 1 Preparations, all self-explanatory. In the extra deck, you play 1 Baron because you play level 3 tuners and level 7 Kashtira monsters. So it's an Omni Negate for your opponent's turn, and also during your turn a pop 1. And during your standby phase of your following turn, you can send it back to the extra deck and special summon back out the Kashtira monster you use to synchro with, so that you can extend. 1 copy of Flare Metal Dragon because it burns, literally. 2 copies of the Kashtira Angler are part of your full combo. 2 copies of the Arise Heart, which is the soul of the deck. Necroface is the heart, Kashtira Arise Heart is the soul. 1 Zeus, oh crap, 1 Zeus because this is the GOAT when it comes to Exceed monsters. When it has a bunch of Exceed materials, it can board wipe to your heart's content whenever you so choose. 1 copy of the Link Spider, 1 Wind Charmer, 1 Masquerena, 1 Earth Charmer, 1 Light Charmer, 1 Dark Charmer, self-explanatory. Once that element is in your opponent's graveyard, you go shopping. 1 Saryuja, also self-explanatory. +4, send back 3, special summon, power up by 300 attack and defense. And then Avermax, one of the best Link monsters in the game as a Link 4. Blocker, power up, and when it leaves the field and gets sent to the graveyard, send a card back from your opponent's side of the field. And that's it for the deck profile and combos. So yeah, until next time guys, later.